Let's talk about winter hats. Now, you should be prepping your vehicle right now if you haven't done so. You should be ready for winter. In my vehicle, I have two big sleeping bags, one in each vehicle. If I was to actually open those sleeping bags up, they could cover four people quite easily across one whole seat. And everybody would be quite warm without the vehicle running. But other things you need in your vehicle is hat and gloves, a winter coat, because a lot of women don't wear winter coats. They'll jump in with their mini skirts and things like that in their vehicle. You need clothing in your vehicle that's going to keep you warm. So if you were going to walk 10 miles on a winter night, on a cold night, what do you have in that vehicle to keep you warm? This is very, very important. A lot of people don't prep their vehicles like that. Now, hats come in all different sizes. Whatever comfortable for you. Now, a baseball cap is not going to keep you warm. Cover up your bald head, but it's not going to keep you warm. Now, one of the biggest ones that people buy, I call it the bandit or the thief. But these particular hats, you got to kind of line them up and get them where you want them. But they cover the whole face. Your eyes are out, your mouth is out. And it's a good idea to have mouth out because you'll end up creating a lot of perspiration. You really want the exhaust to come out, not to be tied up. Now, these are nice when you're sleeping. These are nice if there's, you know, if you're in an open field on a winter day. I mean, when I was in Minnesota, minus 30, minus 40 Fahrenheit, just crazy how cold it would get there. And I had quite a few of those in my vehicle because a lot of times if your vehicle broke down, you would be in an open field with the wind coming across, 20 miles an hour. It was crazy how cold it was. That wind would just cut through you like unbelievable. And you take today, for example, in Tennessee, we've been raining all week, nonstop. People are flooding, basements are flooding. We finally had a break today, but we're only at 40 Fahrenheit. I mean, we're just, just a little bit above 0 Celsius. So having hats, gloves, clothes, and if you had to change and your vehicle broke down and you had to get out and walk, um, you're really going to appreciate and tap yourself on the back. I mean, it takes nothing but 5 minutes to go through and say, okay, I need this coat, I need these pants, I need these socks, I need these shoes or boots, whatever, and throw them in your vehicle. That's it. Now, there's other hats. You can get a hat like this. That's going to go around your neck. And then you have a hat that goes on your head. These are kind of nice. I mean, these are fairly warm. They got some room on top. It keeps your neck nice and warm. These are nice too. And all these hats are on Amazon. I'll link a few of them in the bottom if you want. We got a very basic, cheap one. I mean, I probably paid $3 for this thing. Now, there is a difference with this one. This is very thin. And that's the big thing with hats. You don't want a super, super thin hat. This one's actually garbage. I mean, this is fine for driving inside the vehicle when you got the heat on. But I really wouldn't want to be walking on the street with this thing. I really wouldn't. It's really not all that thick whatsoever. Another one is the Mad Bomber. And you can get these at madbomber.com. You can get knockoff companies on Amazon. Comes down around the ears. Really keeps you warm. The problem with this one is you can't hear very good out of there. That's the problem. Covers up your hearing really, really, really bad, actually. It's a hard time hearing if somebody's coming up behind you. Now, one I just picked up, and this was about $30. This is made by the Danish, and it's made from merino wool, and it's fleece lined on the inside. It's basically one size fits all. Now this has a very good feeling to it. Not like this thin one. This is a lot thicker. Merino wool is known to wick away sweat from your body, so your hat's not getting soaking wet. Now, how well that's going to work with fleece lined inside, I don't know, because usually when the merino wool's against you is when it wicks away. So I can see that fleece lining. I'm not sure, but it is a thicker hat. It does feel really good. I'll have a link on the bottom if you want to check this one out. But I wanted this one. You see, I can pull that down, and my mouth and nose is open. Um, I wanted a good warm hat when I was sleeping in my tent, and I don't like the robber hats. I feel too constricted, and with this one, I can hear really good. This hasn't stopped my hearing like the Mad Bomber hat does. And when I pull all this down, okay, now when you're in your tent, it's pitch black. It doesn't matter if you can't see, but the nose and mouth is open. And why is that important? You don't want to put your head underneath inside your sleeping bag when you're cold. I've seen people do that on YouTube, and I just shake my head. When you breathe, you'll notice, or fog, or whatever, you'll see it looks like smoke coming out of your mouth when it's cold. Perspiration is what you're breathing. It'll turn the water. And literally, if you put your head in underneath your sleeping bag when you're sleeping, you're going to make the inside of your sleeping bag moist. And water is death. And you'll be lucky if you make it through the night. You really want your head outside of the sleeping bag so that perspiration leaves. It doesn't stay with you. There was another YouTube, he's called Shug. He created, looked like a bib. He literally had this thing he had around his neck when he was in his hammock, and a piece of felt that would come out like this is what he had. So now when he was sleeping in his hammock, when he breathed, it would hit that felt, and then it would build up with ice. It wasn't coming down on his quilt. Now in Minnesota, where he's from, it's minus 40 there. I mean, it gets cold there. He's got videos of him out in minus 35. I mean, literally, if your fingers, are out for more than 5 minutes, you got frostbite. It's crazy how cold it is up there in the equipment that he's done. But he created this bib for himself. You can't buy it. He made it himself. And it's to prevent that perspiration. Now, keep that in mind. That is very important if you're going to be in a tent, is what that is. You don't want to put your head inside your sleeping bag on a cold night. Never. Never, never, never. And you want to keep it out. So I bought this particular hat. It was a little pricey, like I said, around $30. And but it feels good. It probably, out of all the hats, it feels the best. And don't think like, okay, this is a cheap hat. It's thin. I'm going to throw this one in my vehicle because I never use it. Don't think like that. And you break down in your vehicle, it's not fun. So you want to make sure you put a good, decent hat and a good, decent gloves and decent clothes in there in case something goes wrong. I see a lot of people here in Tennessee because we don't get cold all that often. We'll get cold, 1 or 2 days, and then we go up to the 60s, 70s, and then we go back down to the 40s. Then we go up and down all over the place. So you never know what day's what. Now, a lot of people here in Tennessee don't even have a winter coat. I mean, they're like, well, I'm just running out, hopping in the vehicle, and I'm going. Turn the heat on. A lot of them I'll see running to Walmart with just a long sleeve shirt on. They don't own a coat because they feel it doesn't really get cold enough here to make sense and I guess spend the money on it. All my vehicles have coats. They all have 4 hats, 4 gloves, and yet there's only 2 of us in the vehicle half the time. That's in case I pick up a hitchhiker or I pick up somebody else or somebody else is looking pretty rough. Just having a little extra in case somebody else is stuck along the highway. But you should have your vehicle prepped right now. Warm clothes, warm boots if you're in snow, whatever your weather is in that area. We got storms all across the U.S. right now. It is crazy what's going on with our weather. Tennessee did nothing but rain all week. But instead of looking at YouTube videos and saying, boy, the weather looks rough here, No, get your butt in the house and look around and say, okay, I need a hat, I need gloves, I need change of socks, I need a pair of shoes, or I need a pair of boots, I need a winter coat. I mean, long johns, underwear, whatever, and package it up and put it in your vehicle and have it ready to go. You will be very, very thankful if your vehicle breaks down and you got to get out in a snowstorm or you got to get out when it's super cold and you have to walk a little ways. Without it, I mean, can you imagine with some of those winter storms that are going on, jumping out in a miniskirt and a shirt and actually like you won't make it. 20 minutes you'll be dead. So really think about putting some extra clothes in your vehicle. And if you have it, throw an extra sleeping bag in there if you got it. But be set up in case that vehicle breaks and you have to travel a certain distance. I mean, a lot of people, preppers, are buying food like crazy and putting it away and they're totally forgetting about their vehicles. That vehicle has to be prepped in case it breaks. And don't think because you got a new car, it's not going to break. New cars break just like old cars. And that's just the way it is. I'm going to link to some of these hats if you don't have any and you're thinking about getting some. This hat I really like. I really do. I'm really happy about this. A little pricey, like I said, $30, but it does feel really good. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next one.